Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to crochet this beautiful Catherine wheel stitch pattern. This is a very pretty pattern to do, perfect for making blankets, scarves and shawls. It's a very pretty pattern. You may use two colors for this pattern. If you want the pattern to stand out, you can use two colors of yarn. You can also use one color if you like, but I feel that when you use two colors the pattern sort of stands out even better. Okay, so this pattern can look intimidating at first, but it's actually quite simple. I'll try to take you through each row one by one so that you can try this pattern even if you're a beginner. Okay, so if you would like to learn how I made the Catherine wheel, then please keep watching. So just a few pointers before we start with the actual tutorial. As I've mentioned before, two colors makes this pattern stand out really nice. So each color will be using it in two rows. Okay, so as you can see here, the green color, there are two rows of stitches here. Okay, and then the pink one here, it has two rows of stitches. So each color yarn, we are going to use it for two rows. Okay, and the repetitive rows in this pattern is rows 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so those are the repetitive rows. You're going to be repeating rows 2, 3, 4 and 5 again and again for the height of your project. Okay, and another thing to notice is that we'll be working one row of cluster stitches and one row of shell stitches, then another row of cluster stitches and then shell stitches. Okay, so the alternating rows are actually similar. So the rows 2 and 4 are similar and rows 3 and 5 are similar. Okay, makes sense. Rows 2 and 4 will have your cluster stitches. Okay, so this is row 2 and this is row 4, so you have your cluster stitches in these rows, and then your rows 3 and 5 will have your shell stitches. Make sense? Okay, if none of this made sense, don't worry, I'll take you through the tutorial step by step, so one row at a time. And yeah, so let's learn how to do this beautiful stitch. In this tutorial, I'll be using a 4mm size crochet hook and the yarn corresponding to the size of my hook. You may use whichever crochet hook size is available to you. Just make sure that the yarn you use corresponds to your hook size. Alright. And now to begin this particular stitch, you need to start with a simple slip knot. Okay, so you may make your slip knot whichever way you prefer. If you would like to learn how to make a slip knot, I have detailed tutorials in the beginner series, so I will leave the links in the description box below, so you may check out those tutorials if you need to. Okay, so for now we're just going to start with a basic slip knot. So I'm just going to make my slip knot like so. Okay, so here is my slip knot, and now we're ready to make a foundation chain. So for this stitch pattern, you need to make a foundation chain in the multiples of 8. Okay, so you can make your foundation chain however short or however long as you would like, depending on the project you're trying. Okay, so you can make it however big or small. You can make the length of the foundation chain however you want. Okay, whatever length you want. Just make sure that the total number of chains that you make is a multiple of 8. Okay, so for this particular tutorial, I'll make a foundation chain of 24. Okay, which is 8 times 3, so that's 24. Okay, so to make a foundation chain, okay, to make your chains, the first thing you need to notice is that your crochet hook, okay, the hook side of your crochet hook is facing up, right? It's facing you. And then all you need to do is place your hook below your yarn like so, making a twist of yarn on your hook. Alright, and then you're going to pull your hook down, which automatically grabs your yarn. Right, you're going to pull your hook down, pulling it down and pulling it all the way through. Okay, so that right there is chain 1. So you're going to repeat that again and again. So again, making sure my hook is facing up, place my hook below my yarn, pulling my hook down, grabbing my yarn, pulling it down and pulling it all the way through. Okay, so that's chain 2, chain 3, chain 4, chain 5 right? So you're just going to repeat this again and again till you get the length that you desire. Just make sure that the total number of chains you make is a multiple of 8. And another tip that I can give you for this project is when you're making your foundation chain, try to make the chains not too tight, okay? So don't make it too loose, but don't make your chains too tight, because in your next row you'll be doing a few stitches into the chains, and if your chains are too tight, then it can make it a little more difficult, okay? So to make things easier, try to make your chains a little loose, okay, like so, okay? Try not to make them too tight, okay? So you may pause the video here if you need to, and go ahead and make your foundation chain. Just make sure that the total number of chains is a multiple of 8. Okay, so I'll make my foundation chain of 24 and I'll be right back. So here I've completed my foundation chain. Okay, so I've made a chain of 24 for this tutorial. So it's a multiple of 8, so we are good to go. Okay, so once you've made the length that you want, okay, for your project, this is the foundation chain, so this is the length of my project. Okay, so we'll be working our stitches in this direction upwards, like so. Okay, so we'll be working upwards, and so this will be the length of your project. So just make sure that the total number of chains you made is a multiple of 8. Okay, so after that, to finish off the foundation chain and to move on to row 1, before that you're just going to add an addition of chain 1. So after you've made your foundation chain the length that you want, which was a multiple of 8, right? After that you're just going to add one more chain to your foundation chain. Okay, just add one more chain like so. Okay, so now we're done with all the chaining. Okay, and we can move on to row 1. So for row 1, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first 4 chains from our hook. Okay, so we are going to skip these 4 chains and we are going to work 9 double crochet stitches into the 5th chain from our hook. Okay, when I say double crochet, I'm using the US term. So in the UK, this will be your treble crochet stitch. All right, so don't panic when I say 9 double crochet stitches. It's actually quite simple. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so you're going to be working 9 double crochet stitches into the 5th chain from your hook. So when you're counting your chains from your hook, right, you're not going to count this particular loop on your hook. Okay, you're going to skip this loop on your hook and you're going to start counting from the one below it. Okay, so this one right here. Okay, so this will be chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4 and chain 5. Okay, so this is my 5th chain. So into this chain space right here, we'll work 9 double crochet stitches. So we are skipping the 4 chains here. Okay, so to make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over once like so, making 1 twist of yarn on your hook, and then you're going to insert your hook into that 5th chain space, into that chain space we spoke about. Okay, grab your yarn, pull it through. Okay, in doing so we have 3 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now making 2 loops on our hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so we've made 1 double crochet stitch right here. Okay, so this is the 4 chains that we skipped in the beginning, right? The 4 chains we skipped. This is our 5th chain space and this is the first double crochet of our 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, so we are going to make 8 more double crochet stitches into this same stitch space that we just worked this double crochet into. Okay, so we are going to go back here and work another 8 double crochet stitches, so a total of 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, so this is our first one. After that we're just going to yarn over again like so, making 1 twist of yarn on our hook, insert our hook back into that same stitch space, okay, that we just worked our previous double crochet into, grab our yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. So we've made our second double crochet stitch. Okay, so we're going to make another one. So yarn over once more. Insert your hook back into that same stitch space. Okay, just make sure you're working into the same chain space, the same stitch space. I'm going to complete my next double crochet. Right, so I've made 1, 2, 3 double crochets so far. I'm going to continue making all 9 double crochet stitches into that same chain space. Okay, into that same space. This is my 5th one. So I've made 5 double crochet stitches so far. This is the, don't get confused with this. This was the chains we skipped in the beginning. Then this is my first double crochet, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Sixth. Seven. 8 and 1 more. 9. Okay, so I've made 9 double crochet stitches into that 5th chain space, okay, that we spoke about. Right, so the stitches can be a little fiddly if you're a beginner, so take your time, okay, no hurry, and work 9 double crochet stitches into that 5th chain space. Okay, so this is how your stitches should look like. Right, now next what you're going to do is, after you've made your 9 double crochet stitches, you're going to skip the next 3 chains on your foundation chain. Okay, you're going to skip the next 3. So this is the stitch space that we just worked into, right? So we're going to skip the next 3. So you're going to skip 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and into the 4th chain space here, we're going to work 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, we are going to work 1 single crochet into this 4th chain space. So we are skipping 3 chains and working 1 single crochet into the 4th chain. So when I say single crochet, I'm using the US term. So in the UK, this will be your double crochet stitch. Okay, so we are going to skip 3 chains and straight away go into the 4th chain. Insert our hook like so. Grab our yarn, pull it through. We've got 2 loops on our hook, right? We're going to yarn over and pull through both the loops. So we just worked 1 single crochet into this chain space right here. Okay, so this is how our pattern should look like so far. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat what we did. So what we did right now, we're just going to repeat that all the way for row 1. Okay, so I'll just show you what I mean by that. So after your single crochet here, again you're going to skip 3 chains. Okay, so if you see carefully, this is the single crochet that we just worked right into this chain space here. Okay, so we are going to skip the next 3. So you're going to skip 1, 2, and 3, and into this 4th chain space right here, we're going to work 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, just like how we work these stitches here, we're going to work 9 double crochet stitches into the 4th chain. Okay, so make sure to identify the chain spaces, right? So this is the single crochet, this was the chain space we worked it into. You're going to skip the next 3. Into the 4th one, we work 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, so you're going to yarn over once again. Insert your hook into the 4th chain space. Grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So we've worked 1 double crochet. You're going to work 8 more double crochets into that same chain space. Okay, all into this space right here. Okay, so I worked 2 so far, 1 and 2. Gonna work 7 more. So that's my 3rd double crochet. 4th. Make sure you're working all of them into the same chain space. Okay, you may gently push your stitches to the side like this to make more space for the rest of your stitches. Okay. The trick here, for the Catherine wheel stitch is that try to make your stitches not too tight. Okay, that will make your pattern a lot more easier to do. Okay, so let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yeah, so one more. Okay, so here I have my 9 double crochet stitches worked into this chain space. Okay, again, one thing that I'll just show you is try not to confuse your double crochet stitches with the chain space. Okay, so remember, this is your foundation chain, the 3 chains that you skipped right after your single crochet. So don't count that as a double crochet stitch. Okay, apart from that, you should have 9 double crochet stitches into this particular chain space. Okay, so we have our 9 double crochet stitches here, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. Okay, so after that, again, you're going to skip the next 3 chains. Okay, so this is the chain space that we worked all these stitches into. Okay, so we're going to skip the next 3. So this is 1 2 and 3, and into this 4th chain space we'll work 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, just how we worked it before. So 1 single crochet stitch into the 4th chain. Okay, so when I say single crochet, again, I mean to say I'm using the US term, so it'll be a double crochet stitch in the UK. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook into that 4th chain space, grab my yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so you're basically going to repeat this again and again till you reach the end. So you're going to skip 3 chains, work 9 double crochet stitches into the 4th chain, and then again you're going to skip 3 more chains and work a single crochet into the 4th chain. So just repeat that again and again till you reach the end, and I'll show you how to finish your row 1. So here I've reached the end of my row 1. Okay, and as you can see, after my 9 double crochet stitches here, we have 4 chains left on our foundation chain, and we're just going to do what we normally did so far. So you're going to skip the next 3 chains. Okay, so I'm going to skip these 3 chains, and into the last chain space we'll work 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, so we'll be working 1 single crochet at the end. Okay, so 1 single crochet at the end of row 1. Okay, so after my 9 double crochet stitches here, I'm going to straight away insert my hook into that last chain space like so, grab my yarn, pull it through. I've got 2 loops on my hook. Okay, and normally what I would do is yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, right, to complete our single crochet stitch. But now, since in row 2 we'll be changing our color, okay, in row 2 we'll be changing our color, so you can join your yarn whichever way you prefer, but just for simplicity's sake, I'll be joining it by completing this single crochet stitch. Okay, so I'll just show you how I do that. So normally we would complete the single crochet stitch by yarning over with this same color, right, yarning over and pulling through these 2 loops, right, but I'm not going to do that. Rather, I'm just going to drop this first color. Okay, get my second color, place it underneath my hook like so. Okay, and then I'm going to yarn over the new color and pull the second color through these 2 loops. Okay, so in doing that, I complete my single crochet stitch as well as join the new yarn. Okay, make sense? Okay, so I'm just going to do that. You don't have to do this method for joining the yarn. You can finish off with that color, cut it off and join the second color as well. Okay, it's whichever way you prefer. There are different methods of joining color, so you can use whichever method you prefer. So anyway, so here I've just pulled through and I've finished my single crochet in row 1, right, and joined my new color, and I'm just gonna chain 3, 1 2 and 3. Okay, so we finished with row 1. This is how your row 1 should look like. Okay, and we are starting with our row 2. Okay, so as you can notice, I'm not going to cut this first color now. Okay, so just let that be at the back. Okay, let that be because when we finish our row 2 and then row 3, we'll come back to this side and then we can just yarn over with this first color. So I'll show you what I mean by all of this if it doesn't make sense, but just make sure that you don't cut off your yarn right now. Okay, I'll show you a way of joining your colors in each row so that you don't have to sew in after every row. Okay, make sense? Okay, anyway, what I mean to say is that I'm not going to be cutting this first color yarn. I just joined my second color yarn, chained 3, right, and now we can begin with row 2. So for row 2, we started with a chain 3, right, with a new color. We've chained 3 and then we're just going to turn our project like so. Okay, and we'll be working in this direction for row 2. Okay, so after you've chained 3, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to work 4 double crochet cluster stitch. Okay, if you're not quite sure what a cluster stitch is, don't worry, I have another detailed tutorial on the cluster stitch, so you can check out that tutorial if you need to. I will leave the link in the description box below. Okay, so what we basically will be doing is a 4 double crochet cluster. Now it basically means we are working 4 double crochet stitches together. Okay, make sense? Okay, I'll show you what I mean by that. So after you chain 3, what you're going to do is yarn over once like so. Okay, and then you're going to insert your hook into the next chain space. So if you can see, this is where we worked our chain 3, right? So this is the space that we worked our chain 3 into. So you're going to move to the next stitch space. So this space right here. Okay. So after yarning over once, you're going to insert your hook into that next chain space, into the next stitch space like so. Okay. And from above, if you see, you're working through both the loops. Okay. And then you're going to grab your yarn, pull it through like you normally would a double crochet, right? And you've got your 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, and now we've got our 2 loops on the hook, and normally what we would do is yarn over and pull through these loops as well, right? But since we're working a cluster stitch, we'll stop right here and we will not complete this double crochet stitch. Okay, so we're going to leave those 2 loops as it is at the side. Okay, and then we're going to yarn over again, making another twist of yarn on our hook, and now we'll be inserting our hook into the next stitch space. So if you see, this is the incomplete double crochet stitch we first worked. Okay, and we worked it into this space here. So now we're moving on to the next space, so this space right here. Okay, so after yarning over again, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch space like so. Again, making sure you're going through both the loops, the front and the back from the top. You're going to grab your yarn, pull it through. Now we've got 4 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, just the first 2 loops like so. And now we've got 3 loops on our hook. Okay, and we are just going to stop right here. We are not going to complete the stitch, so we're going to let those 3 loops be. Okay, so if you see, we've got our 3 loops and we worked 2 incomplete double crochet stitches, 1 into each stitch space. Make sense? Okay, so we're going to repeat this once more. So this is like half of our cluster stitch. Okay, we've got 2 incomplete double crochet stitches. We're going to work 2 more. Okay, so you're going to yarn over again. Okay, insert your hook into the next stitch space. So if you see, this is the last stitch space we worked into, right? We worked this incomplete double crochet stitch here. So we're going to work another incomplete double crochet stitch into the next space. Okay, so after yarning over again, insert your hook into the next stitch space, again making sure you're going through both the loops from the top. Grab your yarn, pull it through. We've got 5 loops on our hook. you're going to yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, and now as you can see, we have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to stop right here. We are not completing the stitch now. We're going to do this once more. Okay, so you're going to yarn over once again and then make another incomplete double crochet stitch into the next stitch space. Okay, so you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch space like so. Grab your yarn, pull it through. We've got 6 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops like so. Okay, so now as you can see, we have 5 loops on our hook. Okay, and we've got 4 incomplete double crochet stitches, 1 into each space. Okay, right, and we've got 5 loops on our hook. So now we're ready to complete our cluster stitch. So now what you need to do is yarn over. Okay, make sure you're holding your yarn tightly here. Make sure your crochet hook is facing down. Okay, and then you've got your 5 loops, so you're just going to pull through all the 5 loops like so. Okay, so this is our 4 double crochet cluster stitch. Okay, so we just made a 4 double crochet cluster stitch. Okay, now next what you're going to do is you're going to chain 4. So after your cluster stitch, you're going to go ahead and make a simple chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so here I've made a simple chain 4, and then you're going to work 1 single crochet stitch into the next stitch space from our previous row. So this is the space that we just worked the last part of our cluster stitch, right? The last stitch we worked into this space right here. So into the next space, so this one here, we'll be working 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, so you're going to insert your hook directly into that space, again making sure you're going through both the loops. Grab your yarn, pull through. We've got 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both the loops. So we made 1 single crochet into the next stitch space right there. Okay, now you're going to chain 4 again. So after that you chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so after my single crochet, we've made another 4 chains, right? And next what we're going to do is work 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, so I know it sounds complicated, but it's basically the same thing as we did here, but instead of 4 double crochet, we'll be doing 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, or 9 double crochets together. Okay, so don't panic, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, I'll just grab some more yarn here. Okay, so after you chain 4, okay, you're going to yarn over once. Okay, find your stitch space. So this is where we worked our single crochet, so we'll be working into the next space here. Okay, next stitch space. So after yarning over like so, yarning over once like so, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch space, making sure you're going through both the loops. Grab your yarn, pull it through. We've got 3 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, so now we have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to let those loops be. Okay, we are stopping right here. We are not completing our stitch. So we basically made 1 incomplete double crochet stitch here. We're going to stop right here and continue with our next incomplete double crochet stitch. Okay, makes sense? So we're just going to let those 2 loops be. You're going to yarn over once again. Insert your hook into the next stitch space like so. Grab your yarn, pull it through. 4 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, only the first 2 loops. And now we have 3 loops on our hook, 1, 2 and 3. Again, we're just going to stop right here. We're not completing our stitch. We're just going to let those loops be. So we have 3 loops on our hook and 2 incomplete double crochet stitches. Right? We're going to work 7 more. Right? we are working 9 double crochet cluster. Okay? So we did 2 so far. You're going to yarn over again. Insert your hook into the next stitch space. Grab your yarn, pull it through. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now we have 4 loops on our hook and we are going to let them be. Yarn over again, move into the next stitch space, so this space right here. Grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. Now we have 5 loops on our hook and 4 incomplete double crochet stitch. Okay, so we are going to work next, we are working our 5th incomplete double crochet, right? So when you always do your 5th incomplete double crochet stitch for your cluster stitch, okay, for your 9 double crochet cluster, you'll see that the chain space will be from the single crochet that you worked in the previous row. Okay, that's how you know your alignment is right. Okay, so we have our 4 incomplete double crochet stitches here, we have 5 loops on our hook, right? And then the next incomplete double crochet will be above the single crochet you worked from the previous row. Make sense? Yeah. Okay, so again you're going to do the same thing. You're going to yarn over once again, insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, so we have 5 incomplete double crochet stitches and we have 6 loops on our hook. Okay, you're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into the next space. So this is the space we just worked our last one into. So into this space right here, we'll be working another incomplete double crochet stitch, like so. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops so far, right? You're gonna yarn over again, insert your hook into the next space, work another incomplete double crochet, like so. Okay, and another one into the next stitch space. So at the end of your 9 double crochet cluster stitch, you should have 10 loops. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I need to work one more incomplete double crochet, so I'm going to yarn over once again, insert my hook into the next space, so this space right here. Okay, like so. Grab my yarn, pull it through. This can be fiddly when you're a beginner, you know, so many loops on our hook, but don't worry, the trick here is try to make your stitches not too tight. Okay, so if it's too difficult for you to handle, just work with your hook in such a way that your stitches are not too tight. All right, so here I'm almost done with my 9 double crochet cluster. So I've got 9 incomplete double crochet stitches. Let's see. So this is my first one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, and loop wise we have 10 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so I've got my 10 loops on the hook. Now what I'm going to do is yarn over, okay, and pull through all these 10 loops. Okay, now to make this easier, what you can do is make sure you're holding your yarn tightly here and make sure your crochet hook is facing down. Okay, so in that way you can easily pull through all these 10 loops like so. That's it. Okay, so that is our 9 double crochet cluster stitch. Okay, so we've completed our 9 double crochet cluster. And next what you're going to do is chain 4 again. So you're going to go ahead and make your simple chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so after your 9 double crochet cluster, we chained 4 and then into the next stitch space here from the previous row into our next stitch space here, we'll be working 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, so after chaining 4, you're going to insert your hook directly into the next stitch space. So this was the last one we worked into, so we are going to move into the next one here. Grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so we worked 1 single crochet into the next space. Now again you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and you're basically going to repeat what we just did previously. Okay, so again you're going to work a 9 double crochet cluster stitch. Okay, so you're going to chain 4 after your single crochet and work the next 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, so I'll quickly show it to you again. So you chain 4, so you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook into the next stitch space, so this space right here. Okay, again making sure you're going through both the loops. Grab your yarn, pull it through. You've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, and now you've got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to just let them be. Okay, you're not completing your stitch. You're going to move to the next incomplete double crochet. So you're going to yarn over once again. And when you're doing the cluster stitch, one tip again I keep telling in my tutorials is make sure that you're not making your stitches too tight. So in doing that, you'll make you'll be able to complete your stitches much easily. Okay, so again yarn over once, insert your hook into the next space, so this space right here. All right, like so. Grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. So we've got 3 loops on our hook and 2 incomplete double crochet stitches so far. You're gonna continue, so yarn over once again, insert your hook into the next space, so this space right here. Grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, 4 loops on our hook, 3 incomplete double crochet stitches so far. Yarn over once again, insert your hook into the next space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, 5 loops on our hook, 4 incomplete double crochet so far. So for the 5th one, as I've mentioned earlier, the 5th incomplete double crochet will always be above the single crochet from the previous row. Okay, that's one way to check that you're doing it right. So again, yarn over once again, insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. So now we've got 6 loops on our hook and 5 incomplete double crochet stitches. Again, you're going to let those loops be, yarn over once again, you've got this. Insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, make sure your loops are not too tight. Okay, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on our hook, 6 incomplete double crochet stitches, 3 more to go. Yarn over once again, you've got this. Insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Okay, again yarn over once, insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, so let's see how many loops do we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops. So 1 more to go. You've got this. See, it can be fiddly, but just make sure your stitches are not too tight. Okay, yarn over again, insert your hook into that last space for now. Grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over and pull through both the first loops. Okay, so now we have 10 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, we've got 10 loops on our hook. We've got our 9 incomplete double crochet stitches, 1 into each stitch space along our stitches from the previous row. Okay, and now we are going to complete our cluster stitch, our 9 double crochet cluster stitch. So you're going to yarn over once again. Make sure you're holding your yarn tightly here. Make sure your hook is facing down and just pull through all the 10 loops like so. Okay, and then you're going to repeat what we did earlier. You're just going to repeat it again and again. So you're going to make a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then you're going to work a single crochet into the next space. So you're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch space, right, and then you're going to chain 4 again and work another 9 double crochet cluster and so on. Okay, so this is the repeat pattern. You work 9 double crochet cluster stitches, then you chain 4, work 1 single crochet into the next stitch space, chain 4 again, and then work another 9 double crochet cluster, chain 4, work 1 single crochet into the next stitch space, and so on. So repeat that again and again for your row 2, and this is how your stitches should look like. Okay, so you're getting the form of the pattern, right? And then you reach the end of your row 2. Okay, and I'll show you how to complete your row 2. So when you reach the end of your row 2, this is how it will look like. Okay, so you'll finish your last single crochet stitch here, and you'll have half of your shell left from the previous row. Okay, so this is how it should look like. And to finish off row 2, what we're going to do is, after this single crochet stitch, you're going to chain 4. Okay, so you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then you're going to work 5 double crochet cluster. Okay, a 5 double crochet cluster stitch into the top of the half of the shell from the previous row. Okay, makes sense? So you just chain 4 and work a 5 double crochet cluster. That's it. So again, you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook into the top of the next stitch, so this stitch space right here. Okay, grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, so you've got 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. We've got 3 loops on our hook, 2 incomplete double crochet stitches so far. Yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 4 loops so far, 3 incomplete double crochet stitches, 2 more to go, yarn over once again, insert your hook into the next space, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. We've got 5 loops on our hook and 4 incomplete double crochet stitches. We need to work 1 more. Okay, so the last one, you're going to yarn over and just insert your hook into this last chain space here. Okay, so just into the next chain space after this stitch. So right here, you're going to work another incomplete double crochet. Okay, right, so when we are doing our 5 double crochet cluster, again make sure that your loops are not too tight. You've got 6 loops at the end. Okay, so just before you finish off your 5 double crochet cluster, it's always good to check the number of loops. So we've got 6 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 incomplete double crochet stitches here, and then you're going to yarn over. Make sure you're holding your yarn tightly, make sure your hook is facing down, and then just pull through all the 6 loops like so. Okay, so we worked a 5 double crochet cluster stitch at the end of row 2. Okay, so this basically finishes off our row 2, and now we can begin with row 3. Okay, so for row 3 we are going to use the same color. Okay, so after you finished your last 5 double crochet cluster from row 2, to begin row 3 you're going to start with a simple chain 4. So you're going to just chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then you're going to turn your project like so. Okay, so now the first thing you're going to do is work 4 double crochet stitches, okay, 4 regular double crochet stitches into the top of the last cluster you made in row 2. Okay, so what I mean by that is, when you see carefully, this is the chains that you just worked, right? So into that first chain that we worked, so this space right here, okay, as you can see there's a gap here, which is basically the top of this cluster stitch. So this was your 5 double crochet cluster, right? From the previous row we have this space right here. Okay, so into this space here, we'll be working 4 regular double crochet stitches. So after you chain 4, you're going to yarn over once. Okay, insert your hook into that space, okay, that we spoke about, which is basically the top of this cluster stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So a complete double crochet stitch. Okay, so you're going to work 3 more, yarn over, insert your hook back into that same space. Okay, so we're working all the 4 double crochet stitches into this space that we worked. Okay, this one right here. So I'm going to work my second double crochet, complete stitches. Okay, second one, that's my third double crochet, and 1 more, and 4 double crochet. Okay, so I worked 4 complete double crochet stitches into this top of the cluster stitch from the previous row. Okay, so this is how your stitches will look like. Don't worry if the stitches are kind of slanting. Once you go on and continue your rows, the stitches will align properly. Okay, so after your 4 double crochet stitches here, what you're going to do is you're going to skip these chains that you can see, these loops that we made. Okay, these chain 4s from the previous row, right? You're going to skip this. You're going to straight away move into that single crochet we made. Okay, that single crochet we made here, and work 1 single crochet into the top of this single crochet from the previous row. Make sense? So after your 4 double crochet stitch, you're going to skip this loop here. Okay, and straight away insert your hook at the top of this single crochet stitch from the previous row, like so. Okay, again making sure you're going through both the loops. Grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both the loops. So we worked 1 single crochet stitch on top of the single crochet stitch from the previous row. Okay, so this is how our stitches will look like so far. Okay, and now again you're going to skip this loop again. Okay, this loop here of 4 chains that we made from the previous row, and into the center of your next cluster stitch from the previous row. This was our 9 double crochet cluster, right? So this is the top of that cluster, this space that you see right here. Okay, this is the cluster stitch, the top right here, this space. Into this center space we are going to work 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, so complete stitches. Okay, so in row 3 we are not working any cluster stitches. All our stitches will be complete. Okay, all our stitches will be complete stitches in row 3. Okay, so after your single crochet stitch here, you're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into that space we spoke about. Okay, this space, which is basically the top of this cluster stitch, and you're going to work 1 double crochet first. Try to make your stitches a little loose, don't make them too tight. Okay, my second double crochet. So as you can see, I'm completing my stitches. Okay, there's no incomplete stitches in this row. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 7 more. So you're going to work a total of 9 double crochet stitches into that space we spoke about, like so. 1 2 3 4 all complete stitches. 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more. If the stitches are too fiddly, you can just push your stitches to the side so that there's more room for all the stitches. Okay, so here I've made my 9 double crochet stitches, 9 complete double crochet stitches into the center of the cluster from the previous row. Okay, so this is how it will look like. Right, so as you can see now the pattern is forming, right? So we finished our 9 double crochet stitches here. Now you're basically going to repeat what we did so far. So now you're going to skip this loopy chain here. You're going to skip this chain 4 that you made from the previous row, and straight away you're going to move to the top of this single crochet that we made from the previous row. Okay, this single crochet on top here, we'll work another single crochet. Okay, so after your 9 double crochet stitches, you're going to insert your hook directly on top of that single crochet and work 1 single crochet stitch. That's it. Okay, and then after that single crochet, you're going to work another 9 double crochet stitches into the top of the next cluster. So this is the next cluster from our previous row. Identify the top of that cluster so you can see all the stitches point towards the center here, right? So this is the eye of the cluster or the center of your cluster stitch. Right, so into this gap space, into this space here, you're going to work our 9 complete double crochet stitches. Okay, I know the terms and the stitches might seem confusing at first, but once you get the hold of it, this pattern is actually very fun to do, and it's actually very pretty as well. So if it seems to be a little difficult at first, don't give up. Just try it one by one, try one step at a time, try one stitch at a time, and work your way through the rows. And trust me, once you reach a few number of rows, you'll actually fall in love with this pattern. And again, as I've mentioned it a few times already, try to make your stitches a little loose, not too tight. Okay, so let's see how many double crochets I've made here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've made 6 double crochets. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you're going to make 3 more. So yeah, it does look a little crowded, so all you need to do is just push your stitches gently to the side, okay, so that there's more space for the remaining stitches. I'm just going to make my 9 double crochets. 8 and 1 more. Right, so this is basically a repeat pattern for row 3. Okay, so after your set of 9 double crochet stitches, right, you're going to work 1 single crochet into the top of the previous single crochet. Okay, you're going to skip all these loopy chains. Okay, and then work another 9 double crochets into the top of the next cluster. So this is a repeat pattern for row 3. Remember, all your stitches in row 3 are complete stitches. Okay, you're not working any cluster stitches for this row. You're working just 9 double crochet stitches into the top of the center of your clusters from the previous row, and then working 1 single crochet above the single crochet from the previous row. Okay, so you may pause the video here, continue this pattern till the end of your row 3, and I'll show you how to finish your row 3. So here I've reached the end of my row 3. Okay, and this is how my stitches will look like. So at the end, as you can see, after your single crochet, your last single crochet, you'll see that you have 1 loopy chain left from the previous row and the last cluster stitch again from the previous row, right? So to finish off row 3, what you need to do is work 5 double crochet stitches, okay, 5 complete double crochet stitches into the top of this cluster stitch from the previous row. Okay, so first you need to identify the space. So all you need to do there is to follow the stitches of your cluster stitch. So as you can see, this is my cluster stitch. okay, my last cluster stitch from the previous row. So when I follow the stitches like so, you'll see that all the stitches are pointing towards this one space here, right? They're sort of pointing towards this space here. So I hope you can see that. Yeah, so this space here is the center of this cluster stitch. So into that space I'll be working my 5 double crochet stitches. So you're just going to work your 5 double crochet stitches like normal, and that will finish off your row 3. Okay, now in row 4 we'll be changing our color. Okay, so you can attach your new color whichever way you prefer. I'll be joining the way I joined when I was changing my colors in row 2. Okay, so here I've got my 4 double crochet and my 5th double crochet stitch. Okay, what I'll be doing is I would like to change the yarn as well, so I'll just be working an incomplete stitch. Okay, so my last double crochet I'm going to leave it as incomplete, so with that last 2 loops. Okay, normally what we would do is yarn over and pull through these 2 loops to complete the stitch, right? So I'm just going to let them be because I want to change my color as well. So I'm just going to leave that yarn there and then take my previous yarn. I had not cut it, right? So I still have it here. So I'm just going to grab the previous color, yarn over the previous yarn and pull the yellow yarn through these 2 loops. Okay, like so. So in doing that I complete this row as well as change the color. Okay, so you can do it in another way. It's totally up to you. If you don't like the color showing like this, that's fine. It's totally up to you how you change your yarn. Okay, so now we'll start with our row 4 and just make sure that you change your color. And if you're doing this method, just make sure that your stitches are not too tight here. Okay, so just gonna pull these 2 strands gently just to get the shape. Okay, and now let's begin with row 4. So in row 4, once you've changed your color, you're going to start with a simple chain 4. Okay, so you're going to do a chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so here I've chained 4 and then I'm just going to turn my project like so. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the first stitch space. So as you can see, the chain 4, okay, the stitch space right below the chain 4, so this space right here, okay, this stitch space here, I'm going to skip that and then I'm going to move to the next stitch space. Okay, and I'm going to work my 9 double crochet cluster. So your row 4 will be similar to your row 2, okay, where we worked our cluster stitches. So in row 4 we'll be working, first we'll work our 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, so you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook into the next stitch space. So make sure you're skipping the first stitch space right below the chain 4. Okay, you're going to move into this space here. So I'm just going to insert my hook into that space, grab my yarn, pull through, got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, then I'm going to stop right there, yarn over once again, insert my hook into the next stitch space, so this space here. Okay, and work another incomplete double crochet stitch. Okay, so this row is quite similar to your row 2. Okay, so now we've got 3 loops on our hook and 2 incomplete double crochet stitches. So you're going to keep going. So make sure that you're working each stitch into different into the next stitch spaces. Okay, do not work all the stitches into one space. So again, yarning over once more, inserting my hook into the next space, working my next incomplete double crochet like so, and then the next one like so. Okay, so now I've got 5 loops on my hook and I've got 4 incomplete double crochet stitches. Now next I'll be working my 5th incomplete double crochet for my 9 double crochet cluster. And as I've mentioned before, the 5th incomplete double crochet stitch will always be into the stitch space just above the single crochet from the previous row. So as you can see, this is a single crochet that we did from the previous row, right? So we are doing it right. So this space, this stitch space here will have our 5th incomplete double crochet stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's just to make sure that your stitches are in the right space. So I'm going to work another, that's my 5th incomplete double crochet stitch. Okay, 4 more. This stitch is probably the most difficult for beginners to do because of so many loops that you need to handle on your hook. It can be tricky at first, but don't give up. Just keep trying, and once you've got the hold of your hook, then this stitch is actually quite easy and fun to do. Okay, so let's see how many stitches we have so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 1 more. Okay, so I've got my 9 incomplete double crochet stitches, and let's count the loops. You should always have 10 loops on your hook when you're doing your 9 double crochet cluster. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so I've got my 10 loops on the hook. I've got my 9 incomplete double crochet stitches. So let's complete this cluster stitch. So you're going to yarn over once, and then make sure you're holding your yarn tightly here. Make sure your hook is facing down, and you're just going to pull through all these 10 loops like so. Okay, so that is our cluster stitch done. Okay, so after your 9 double crochet cluster, you're going to chain 4. So you're going to make a simple chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we've made a chain 4, and then into the next stitch space we're going to work 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, so again, when I say single crochet, I'm using the US term. In the UK, this will be your double crochet stitch. So as you can see, this is the last stitch space we worked our stitches into, right? So into the next space, so this space right here, we'll be working a single crochet stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch space, grab my yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so here I worked my single crochet stitch. Now we're just going to basically repeat this all the way till the end. So after your single crochet, you're going to again chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then you're going to work your next 9 double crochet cluster, and then you're going to work 1 single crochet into the next stitch space and work another 9 double crochet cluster, and so on. So you're basically going to repeat this pattern again and again. Okay, make sure you're chaining 4 in between your cluster stitch and your single crochet. Okay, so you're basically going to repeat what we just did again and again for this row. Okay, so for row 4, this is the pattern to repeat. I'll just quickly show it to you again. So after your single crochet, we chained 4. After that, we'll do our 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, right, and then we're going to chain 4 and then work 1 single crochet into the next stitch space, chain 4 and then again a 9 double crochet cluster. Okay, so don't forget to chain 4 in between the cluster stitch and the single crochets. Okay, so here after my chain 4, I'm going to work my 9 double crochet cluster. That's my first incomplete double crochet. Then into the next space, I'm going to work the second one, next space, the third one. Again, the trick here to get your cluster stitches with ease is to try not to make the loops too tight. And always when you do your cluster stitch, just make sure that the 5th incomplete double crochet is always above the single crochet from the previous row. So this is my single crochet from the previous row, and this will be my 5th incomplete double crochet stitch in my 9 double crochet cluster. So that's one way to make sure that your stitches are aligned right. This is my 7th incomplete, 8th incomplete, and 9. So we've got our 9 incomplete double crochet stitches here, okay, 1 into each stitch space all the way along the row. And then just make sure before you pull through, make sure you've got your 10 loops. Okay, so I've got my 10 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all the 10 loops. Like so. Okay, so I finished my 9 double crochet clusters. So you're going to repeat this again and again till the end. So after your 9 double crochet cluster, you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then you're going to work 1 single crochet into the next stitch space like so. Okay, so 1 single crochet into the next stitch space, and then work another chain 4 and repeat this pattern. So you may pause the video here if you need to. Okay, repeat this pattern till you reach the end of your row 4, and I'll show you how to complete this row. So here I've reached the end of my row 4, okay, and now to complete this row, after your last 9 double crochet cluster stitch, you're going to chain 4 as normal. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, after you've chained 4, all you need to do is work 1 single crochet at the end of this row. Okay, so into the last stitch space right here, we'll be working 1 single crochet stitch. Okay, and that basically completes our row 4, and now we can move on to row 5. Okay, so this is how your stitches should look like. And now in row 5 we'll be using the same color as we used in row 4. Okay, so to begin row 5, you're going to start with a chain 1. So you're going to chain 1, right, and then you're going to turn your project like so. Okay, and then what you're going to do is in row 5 you're going to be working your shell stitches. Okay, so your complete stitches. Okay, so row 5 will be similar to your row 3. Okay, so row 5 will be similar to row 3 where we worked the shell stitches or the complete double crochet stitches. Okay, so after you've chained 1 here, okay, you're going to skip this single crochet stitch from the previous row. You're going to skip this. You're going to skip these chains here as well. So you're going to skip the loose chains here, okay, this gap space here, and you're going to work straight into the center of your cluster stitch. So again here, it's easy to identify the center of your cluster. So this is my cluster stitch, and as you can see, all the stitches are pointing towards this one space here. Okay, can you see that? This space here. Okay, so into this center space, into the center of this cluster stitch, we'll be working our 9 double crochet stitches. Okay, 9 complete double crochet stitches into the center of this cluster stitch. Okay, so after we chained 1, we're straight away going to yarn over once like so, insert our hook into that center of the cluster, grab our yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So we worked 1 double crochet. Okay, you're going to work 8 more double crochet stitches into that same space. Okay, into that same stitch space. So into this space, the center of this cluster, we are working our 9 complete double crochet stitches. Okay, so this row is very similar to your row 3. This is my 5th double crochet. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 more. It can get a little crowded, so try to push your stitches to the side so that you can fit more of your stitches. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So one more. So make sure you work 9 complete double crochet stitches. Okay, so here I've got my 9 double crochet stitches, and this is how it will look like. So I've got my 9 double crochet stitches into that same stitch space, into the center of the cluster from the previous row. Okay, so after that we are going to work 1 single crochet, okay, into the top of the single crochet from the previous row. So you're going to skip these chains here. So you're going to skip this loopy space here. Okay, and you're going to straight away go into this single crochet from the previous row and work another single crochet here. Okay, so after my 9th double crochet here, I'm going to insert my hook into the top of this single crochet from the previous row. Okay, this one here, and then I'm going to work 1 single crochet stitch like so. Okay, that's it. Okay, so there's no chaining in between here. So after your single crochet, now again you're going to skip this loopy chain from the previous row. You're going to skip this gap space, and you're going to straight away go into the center of the cluster stitch. So this is your cluster stitch here, and this is the center of your cluster stitch, right, where all your stitches are pointing towards. So this space here, this one, we'll be working another shell. So we'll be working on 9 double crochet shell here. Okay, so you're going to work 9 complete double crochet stitches into this space right here. So you're not going to be doing anything to these chains here. So after your single crochet, you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook into that space that we spoke about, the center of your cluster, and then we are going to work 9 complete double crochet stitches. Okay, so this is basically your repeat pattern for this row. You're just going to keep repeating this till you reach the end of your row 5. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. So row 5 is quite similar to your row 3. Working complete stitches in this row. So we've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 2 more, eight, and my 9th. Okay, it can get a little crowded, it can get a little fiddly, so don't panic. Just work your way through the stitches. Okay, so here I've worked my 9 double crochet stitches, and so you're just going to repeat what we did so far. So after your 9 double crochet stitches, you're going to skip this loopy chain from the previous row and work your single crochet, 1 single crochet into the top of the single crochet from the previous row. Okay, and basically you're going to repeat this all the way till the end. So 1 single crochet here, then you're going to skip this loopy chain, work your 9 double crochet shell, skip the next loopy chain, work 1 single crochet, and so on. So you may pause the video here if you need to, and continue your way till the end of your row 5, and I'll show you how to finish this row. Okay, so when you reach the end of row 5, okay, after your last shell stitch, so after your last set of 9 double crochet stitches, okay, you're going to end with a single crochet stitch. So you're going to do 1 single crochet into the last stitch space here. Okay, so you're just going to work 1 single crochet. And now another thing to keep in mind is that the next row, so row 6, you will be repeating rows 2 from what we did earlier. Okay, so you're going to repeat the same stitches from row 2. So, and also you're going to change your color. So you're going to change your color in row 6, and you're going to repeat row 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to complete the single crochet. I'm going to let that yarn be. I'm going to take my previous color, so the green one here, and then I'm going to yarn over the green and pull through the two loops on my hook. Okay, And again, make sure that when you're changing your color, try not to tighten them too much, okay? Keep them nice and okay. So now we can start off with row 6, and in row 6 you're going to basically repeat what we did in row 2. So you're going to chain 3 and then turn your project, and you're basically going to repeat exactly what we did in row 2. Okay, so you're going to start with the 4 double crochet together, so your 4 double crochet cluster and so on. So you're just going to repeat your row 2. This is basically the end of this tutorial. You're just going to repeat the rows that we did. So you're going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4 and 5 again and again till you get the height that you require. Okay, so after your row 5, your row 6 will be similar to row 2, row 7 will be similar to row 3 and so on. So you're just going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4 and 5 again and again till you get the height that you want for your project. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow. Please leave in your comments and suggestions in the comment box below. I love hearing from you guys, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked the tutorial, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's free. All you need to do is click on the red button below the video. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, and I guess that's it. So I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.